How are the children? Ask you again. How are the children?
Not well.
For those of you who did not answer the question, perhaps it's because you did not understand what you perceive to be a question. Or maybe it's because you really don't know the answer.
When you suspend me, it feels like you are taking my life. Not being able to go to school is like being buried alive. Get treated like a criminal, going to jail. I feel worthless every time I get suspended or expelled. I'm not a bad kid, my teachers don't understand. I know that preparing me for prison is all part of the plan. Get kicked out of school, had dreams of driving a Ferrari. The principal doesn't believe me when I say that I'm sorry. I can't settle for McDonald's for my bills to get paid. I've got too much potential to make minimum wage. All this anger building up in me, I've got so much rage. They treat me like a criminal, throwing me in a cage. They still throw me in the slammer, they don't care about my age. Straight A student working hard like a slave. They don't care if I'm in school or not, they still getting paid.
This bus represents the school to prison pipeline. So we're obviously using the symbol of a school bus, but our doors and windows have bars. And what we're seeing is the fact that police officers are now in schools. Our children are being criminalized for childish behaviors, like a school fight, for instance. They end up in the juvenile system instead of disciplined by their vice principal, let's say. From there, they're deemed a bad kid. From there, they then go on to prison. So this bus, the bus with bars on the doors and windows, is a symbol of the pipeline we have, particularly our black and brown children in right now.
The most shocking statistics I've run across in the juvenile justice system are, for example, in St. Louis County, there is one public defender for 394 juvenile justice cases in a year. And so you can see from that it's impossible for every child to have counsel every time they're in court, and that's a violation of their constitutional right.
We did not call you here to provide you with information that you can easily Google on your own. We did not call you here to cheer for some talented and gifted children, local partners, or to be the pep squad for your school district. We called you here because there is a critical and urgent need in our region. We are losing the best and the brightest among us. We are being denied the untapped gifts and potential of children who are not allowed to grow, explore, fail, and get back up again like some of us. No, today we issued a clarion call to the community because our most valuable children are being negatively impacted at rates which should be unacceptable to those of us with a moral consciousness. We are losing our children because school policies for discipline have traditionally been punitive rather than restorative. They have been policies which do not allow children to be children.
I get one particular young man, great GPA, great ACT score, great attendance. And typically as a counselor, they give me a certain level of permission that I could directly admit a student without having to go through committees and other policies and things to the other. This particular student, there was a flag on his profile that he had been suspended. He had been suspended for 1 day. And so I had to open up the profile, begin to review it, and it turns out that he had gotten up without the teacher's permission to throw away a piece of paper. And so because he had this 1 day suspension on his profile, I could not directly admit him according to policy. And so he was delayed in his process. And it had to go through a committee, go through the deans, because that is the consequences that we face when we decide to suspend children for petty infractions. And so something has to change. Something has to evolve, and we find alternative resolution in order not to keep the children from the things that they need the most.
Our success is really dependent upon the leaders that we have around the table, people who are passionate enough to actually put their feet to the pavement and get the work done. And so we're always looking for more people to come in and to work with us on a more kind of individual basis, always keeping in touch with your school district, whether that's the superintendent, whether that's attending school board meetings, actually voting in school board elections. Calling your legislators. These are the type of things that help us be civically engaged people. And the more people that we have out there who are doing that, the more it helps to strengthen the work that we do here.
Sometimes when I'm listening to these officials and they talk, when people are trying to reach out to them, sometimes I get the idea that they think that, you know, hey, these people, all they're about is a bunch of monkey business, you know. But then the more you keep bugging them, you know, about doing this, and you just show your hand. You know, in other words, what I'm trying to do is extend a hand of fellowship and working with you, as this young man said. And, you know, don't back off of us all the time.
Legislation, there's national initiatives that we need to be a part of. We don't have the capacity to do that right now. So we need some folks that say, you know what, we're going to stick with you. When our emotions high, our emotions low, we're going to stick with you.
And then of course, always, if you cannot be here physically, but you can provide support in other ways, donating materials, financially, connecting us with other groups that have the same kind of passion. These are all the different ways that we look to engage folks.
To pray, my own Father.
Bye.